What's going on, party people? This is your man Griff out here. A very rainy day over here in the Hampton Roads area. Man, yeah, I only got one closing today. Couple of house inspections, but if I do them, it might be this afternoon, I think, when the rain breaks and stuff. But right now, nah, and I just use my my little safety thing as my raincoat, which I probably need to just buy me a regular raincoat and stuff. So, but I'm over here in this church parking lot, just chilling, eating me some Chick-fil-A hash browns. I got a signing in 30 minutes. That's like 6 minutes. It was really, what, 10 minutes away from the house and everything, and I didn't really feel like going back to the house, and because I get over there, you start getting relaxed and chilling, and like my wife said, I'll be sitting down and I'll be passing out. So I said, let me just, you know, grab me something since I was headed this way. Took her to the salon for her for her class this morning that she's teaching, and then grab me some nuggets, some hash browns, and come on out this way. But I just wanted to share some thoughts with y'all. You know how I am. This morning I got up, and I think it's probably been almost a week since I posted that little 7-second video of the fact that I lost some weight and got down to 227 pounds. The video said from 240 to 227. Actually, it probably really was 250, because I say 240 because when I actually started looking at trying to lose weight, note what I said, looking, I was pushing like 250. But from the time that I left my job, I had got down, and I can't even tell you how long it was, but I got from 250 down to 240. And I actually got down to 232 somewhere along the line, and then went back up to 240. So when I left the job, it was 240 until now 227. Well, I hopped on the scale this morning, down to 226 and everything. So one of my goals is to get back into actual working out. But one of the things with working out, at least for my body type, I don't like being too heavy. So if I start working out, pumping a whole bunch of iron, I don't want a bunch of muscle on top of fat, you know, or fat on top of the muscle, really. So I like to get the weight down to about 220 or so, really 220, really 200, and then start hitting the iron again, you know. So then that way, as I get the pounds, you know, I'm looking good, you know, you can see the definition and everything. Not that I'm gonna be showing y'all, but you know, that's just what I've learned, because I used to do bodybuilding back in the day, and that was the way I was taught, you know, get that fat off, reduce the fat off your body, and then so when you start building the muscles, the definition will show. You know, you have these guys that's all big and swole, but they have no definition. And I grew up in a time where it was all about definition. You know, if you're gonna pump iron and all of that, then you gotta have some definition. You just can't have some big swole arms, big swole chest, and there's no definition. You really don't see any cuts on your body, and it's all about the cuts. And fellas, y'all know what I'm talking about. But as I was thinking about going back, about when I started back working out, getting all my stuff together, you know, first mentally, and then I already had the equipment and everything, I said, you know, being a notary is similar to working out. You can't do one push-up and then just expect to be back to the proper fitness or where you need to be. And you can pay a trainer all day long. You can buy a membership at the fanciest gym. You can buy all the fanciest equipment, but you will never see the results that you want until you get out there and do this thing. So if you don't get out there and do it, you'll never ever see the results. Well, that's the same thing with notary, in my opinion. That if you hop out there and you say, okay, I'm gonna be a notary, but you don't put in the work. You don't take orders. You don't even try to do any orders. But you're paying everybody for all of this knowledge. You're paying, and thinking that because I spent this money, I'm going to instantly be a great notary, and that's not necessarily the case. You got to put in the work. And just like we're working out, there's no amount of money that you could ever pay to instantly be in shape. Just like there's no amount of money that you can pay to any mentor, to any training system to instantly be in shape. Now, are there people who go and work out and within 4 or 5 weeks there's a huge body transformation? Yeah. Well, they probably have other advantages, genetics, and maybe they used to work out before, maybe they just needed to cut down some stuff, and then they just had to tighten up on a few things. Maybe, a lot of times you don't see what they do in the background. And see, like with and this is why I say notary is similar to working out, because we don't see the background. We go into the gym and let's say Planet Fitness, not sponsored by Planet Fitness, don't even have a membership, but just using them as an example. You go into Planet Fitness and it's like, okay, man, these folk in here, and it's like, you looking, it's like, well, how long you been on the treadmill? An hour. How long you been on the elliptical? 2 hours. How long you been over here on yours? 6 days. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, okay, well, I want to do that. And then you hop out there, start trying to do it, and your body isn't built for it. Your body isn't built for it, okay? You haven't built up to that point yet. Well, just like with notary, we get into the notary game and we see people, and it's like people bragging about what they've done, bragging about who they are, and they never tell you the backstory. Now, the one thing I give respect to when it comes to working out and anything with fitness, pretty much anybody who has common sense, and that's probably 99% of the people in fitness, they will tell you, you can't just hop out here and just start snatching, weights up and hopping on ellipticals for 10 days and all that kind of stuff. They'll tell you straight up. Okay. They'll tell you straight up, it don't work that way. You got to build yourself up. You got to. Now, I was looking for something. Hold on, y'all. Where is my. I done forgot what I did with stuff. No, I was looking for something and I thought I had it in here. Here it is. Here it is. All right. You know what I'm saying? You can't just hop out there sometimes. And you got to build up. You got to get the right foundation. And with working out, there's a foundation that you have to have. And with notary, there's a foundation you have to have. And just because you see all these other people popping and all of that kind of stuff, you can get there, but you can't just hop out there to get there. And unfortunately, sometimes people don't share their story as to the trials and tribulations they went through to get to where they're at as a notary. They don't. I mean, very rarely. I know I share mine constantly. People are talking about follow them on their story, and they talking about all the positives, and they probably been told by their mentor and whoever they're following and trying to, help them make all these extra streams of income. Never talk about the negatives of the business. But the truth of the matter is there is negatives in the business. And that's what people want to know so they can make the proper determination. You want to know the truth about whatever it is you're going to invest your time in. But then the people who are out here promoting it and pumping themselves up and telling you how great it is, they never tell you that there's a negative. Then you get involved in it, and then you find out there's these negatives. And it's not that they're bad, they're just things that doesn't always go well. And then you're like, well, why you didn't tell me? Oh, don't worry about that. Just keep pressing, just keep pressing, just keep pressing. Well, that's just like somebody hopping into the gym trying to bench press 225 pounds. And you're like, well, look, man, I'm having a hard time. Well, I'll help you out a little bit. Come on, just keep pressing, just keep pressing. It's like, no, that doesn't build stamina. That doesn't build strength. That doesn't build endurance to do something that your body truly can't handle. And you didn't realize that, okay, this is actually too much for me. I have to start off a little slower. And that's some of the phone calls that I've gotten from people, that they're like, okay, this is a little bit overwhelming. People have called and said, yeah, once they started getting all these orders coming in, all these notifications, for some people, it's it's really overwhelming to them, and they have anxiety because now they're being called by multiple people. In some cases, actually being called, or they're just seeing these notifications, and now they're like, wait, okay, I can't take this one, I can't take that one. Okay, I took this one for 100, but then man, there's another one that popped out for 150, but it's at the same time. Do I cancel the 100 and go try to get the 150? You know what I'm saying? So they got all of this, and they're not prepared for it. They're not prepared because they weren't told that those things could happen. That all of a sudden, bam, there's an influx of orders in your area, and they're just going trying to get any notary at all. You know, so that's why I love working out. I love exercise because you do it at your own pace, and you build up, and you can get to where you need to be if you don't allow yourself to be enamored with everybody else. I remember one time when I was in the Navy, I went in the gym, and I mean, I see these dudes, man, they were just rocking. I mean, dudes were swole, and I'm sitting here like, I was like, man, and you know, and the cool thing is those guys was like, man, don't look, you come in here and do what you do. They're like, little man, you come in here and do what you do. And I was like, all right. They said, don't get psyched out by what we do. We worked hard. It took years for us to get to this point. And I was like, all right, man, I appreciate that. Because I was feeling really, really intimidated. And I had already worked out. You know, I used to work out because I'm an only child, so I work out by myself and all of that. But to work out, and then you go into a gym where you see all of these dudes, and it's like, man, everybody's pumped. And you don't see any beginners in there. And you're the only beginner that's up in that mug, and you're like, shoot, I don't know. And I was trying to like rock with them, and they was like, man, look, you handle your, and they literally, I mean, these two guys were so compassionate. They were sitting up here with 315 pounds. They was like, nah, man, we're going to take this off. You're going to start off with the 145. They're like, don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about these dudes. You do you. I was like, doing my thing. They're like, how'd that feel? I'm like, yeah. They said, that's what it's about. You getting the workout that you supposed to get. Now, that experience played a critical part in my life years later. I wound up getting sick to the point to where I had lost well over 100 pounds. I couldn't eat, I couldn't swallow. Part of the reason why sometimes you hear me cough and all of that, because even I suffer from the effects of that, where, you know, if I'm eating stuff or something too hot or too cold in my esophagus, I start having throat spasms. So sometimes, you know, people are like, man, it's really a lot of times it's just an effect of that, because the sphincter on my esophagus had shut down. So it wouldn't open up. So it's supposed to open to let food drop, and food couldn't go down. And I ended up doing a lot of regurgitating because food would get stuck in my esophagus. Well, if food ain't getting down, you wind up losing weight. Well, I had got to the point where I had lost so much weight. I had some teeth problems. I mean, it was all kinds of stuff where the nutrition in my body, I was living off a slim fast. Well, I went back when I finally had the surgery, got the surgery. It was a 5 or 6 hour surgery. They got me all straight. And then I had to say, okay, well, my psychology, my mindset was get back in that gym, you know, because I didn't like being skinny. I'm talking about I was down to like 150 pounds. I mean, like, I'm like skin and bones. I'm like, you know, you slim fellas, I don't know how you can walk around without some kind of pump on you. You know, I'm like, I just grew up, you always had some kind of little mini guns or something. Well, what those guys did for me back then played key in my psyche when I went to start back working out. And I was still in the Navy. Or was I in the Navy? Or just working with the Navy. But either way it goes, I was on a military base, probably as a civilian. Yeah, I was a civilian back then. That's right, I was a civilian back then. And I went in there, and all I could bench press was just the bar, the 45-pound bar. And I went in there and I worked out. And I was like, and them cats was looking at me like, what is wrong with this dude? He's just coming in here. And I was just bench pressing that 45-pound bar. Had those guys not shown me the love and respect and not forced me and tried to make me feel bad and tell me that I should be at a level that I really couldn't handle, when I needed to, when I went through some stuff and I had to go back and start at a level below what they had me at, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I mean, psychologically, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I went in there and I did it. And as time went by, I got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I started feeling better about myself. Now, I never got back to the point of lifting weights and stuff like I did. I mean, I could probably do maybe close to 200 now and all that. I just haven't done it. But the point is, in the notary game, don't let people push you to a level that you're really not ready to handle. Just because they've gotten there, note what I'm saying, because they've gotten there through their trials and tribulations, doesn't mean that that's where you start. You don't start up here. You got to work there so you can build the foundation. That's what all millionaires and billionaires teach. Get the foundation right and then move up. You can't buy your way to the top. You can't in anything and be able to sustain it without continuing to pay to stay there. Just like in Google, many of you who are doing the notary game now, you got Google pages, and Google is like, hey, for $300 we can get you top listing. Well, you can get top listing with Google if you pay $300. But here's the problem. The moment you stop paying them that money, you ain't going to be top anymore. Why? Because you don't have enough visitors to your website, visitors to your Google page to support you being listed in the top 10% or the top 2 or 3 spots on Google. You have not built up enough volume of people coming to your website or coming to your Google business page to where if you did not pay, when somebody searches for a notary, you would be one of the top 3 that gets up there. You haven't built that, so you have to pay for it. And as long as you pay for it, you'll be there, and you'll think that you're at the top when you're really not. Because if you stop paying that $300, you ain't even gonna be on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th page. You see what I'm saying? So it's about building for longevity. There's nothing wrong with gathering information from people, whether it's free or paid. But you have to realize, just because you paid for it don't mean that that's going to instantly propel you, because you still got to do the work. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't say. Now, they may say it now that I've said it. I'm just being honest with you. Because a lot of people, you know, they don't think that they need to say these things, but they do. They need to let people know, you got to put in the work. And if you're unwilling to put in the work, no matter whether it was free or paid, like my information that I'm sharing with y'all is free. And there's people who won't put in the work. And then there's people who are paying for stuff and they won't put in the work. They went and paid for stuff, didn't put in the work, come to me, I share information with them, and they still won't put in the work. So it's not always the information, it's your ability to put in the work. But what I'm saying is, don't think that if you don't think that you can just go and pay your way to the top or smooth your way to the top. You got to work and earn your way. Because one of the things that we have to remember is that as a business owner, as a notary first, you're responsible for making sure you understand all laws and regulations and do things right. And no matter who taught you what, if you do something wrong, it's on you. You can't go back and say, well, I learned from this person and they said to do it this way. But did you go and make sure that that was the right way to do it? Did you research it for yourself? Nah, I mean, I paid them don't care if you paid them. Did you do what you're supposed to do to ensure that what you did was right or wrong? Nah, I didn't. Then you're the one at fault. It's that simple. So as everybody knows that you can't buy your way into fitness, can't buy your way into a healthy body and all of that. You can't buy your way into being a good or even a great notary. You have to work at it. And if you're willing to work at it, I'm telling you, just like I have, and even these people who you're paying for information from, all of them have worked at it. And I commend them and I give them kudos. But to you who have not gotten to that pinnacle yet, you got to realize you got to put in the work. What people share with you a lot of times is a snapshot of their success. And for some people, they don't even want to talk about the failures. They don't even want to talk about the struggles that they had, because they don't want to relive that for whatever reason. So all you're going to ever hear from them is the glory, the glory, the glory. I'll tell you the good, bad, ugly, the so-so, the extraordinary, the daggone, man, all of that. I don't have a problem with that, because that's a part of our life and that's what we go through. And as quiet as it's kept, that's what a lot of people want to know, so that they can make the proper decision about whatever. Because see, the moment stuff goes bad and somebody, and you know that person could have told you, you're like, why you didn't tell me? See, now you want to be told that, oh, well, okay, yeah, this is something you should have been watched out for. Why you didn't tell me ahead of time? See, you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting ready to go on a bounce, going over here to this thing. Hopefully it won't take forever for this thing to load up. It's 22 minutes or so. So my hash browns here, but you got to work at this. You got to work at this, and you can't buy your way to notary success. It's that simple. You cannot buy your way to notary success. All right? Peace.